Okay, was trying to wait for that rock music to get out of there. Howdy, howdy, howdy. Welcome back to SciTrek, your sci-fi TV and movie channel. We've got a fun one today, a pretty simple one. It is just me, myself, and I. So I'm not the resident Doctor Whovian. So as I know the title says, we might not jump into as much Doctor Who as we would like, just because I simply can't talk about it. But I do have a little bit of a tidbits of news, I guess, that I can share. And outside of that, we'll just hang out, talk what's come out throughout the week, what we've seen, all the usual stuff we do in our sci-fi hangouts on Sundays. And if y'all can think of anything you want to talk about, let's talk about it, So let's jump on in here before I do anything else. Before I get hollered at, we got to switch the banner down there. We're all good. With respect, keep the bloody snow over in Washington. How is everybody? Happy Sunday, everybody. Morning, evening, wherever y'all are. It's a good day. It's a good day. I feel a good day coming on, It's only 10 o'clock out here, so there's plenty of day left. Let me go ahead and real quick just give you a little tidbit of Doc Who stuff, because I know some of us are huge Whovians, and I will be soon. And soon is relative as well, because I got to get through Star Trek first. But sooner than later. Yeah, let me go ahead and give you this. There are rumors and plenty of news that, of course, Doctor Who has been canceled. It isn't, but it is at risk. The thing that I guess is the biggest holdup, without trying to dive too deep into everything, is I don't appreciate the hate speech and fear mongering in the title, Mark, our resident Whovian here. Well, it's not. It is a little clickbaity, of course. I mean, hell, we're trying to get some clicks and views on the YouTubes, of course. But also, it's not going to be canceled necessarily at this moment, but it is very much at risk of being canceled soon. And I guess the writing's been on the wall for a long time, obviously. But the things that I think are the biggest holdups that we're hearing, at least, are budget. And since last August, BBC has not been wanting to cover that budget at all. Not necessarily at all, but not front the majority of the bill there, where Disney hasn't necessarily been keen on jumping on that bill either. Since August, they've essentially kept August of last year, I believe, not even 2023, 2024, excuse me, I believe 2023, could be 2024. But one way or another, they have been pushing the bill further away from them. So Disney doesn't necessarily want to front the bill either. So that is where the risk of Doctor Who being canceled comes in there. So two of the big companies that are making it, the two biggest companies making it, don't necessarily want to continue to do the show with the ratings and the type of conversation that is being had around the show currently. And for one of the longest standing shows in history, if not one of the longest standing shows in general, outside of maybe soap operas, it's at death's doorstep. And I don't know if the things they already have filmed and written can save it. Obviously, I haven't watched it myself, so I don't know exactly where they are within the series itself and what's happening on a note-by-note basis. But, we talk this with Star Wars all the time. We've been talking it with Star Trek, one of the STs somewhere there. And it feels like every IP we have nowadays is kind of being bit with this. It's kind of getting poisoned from both sides of everything. And let's just, we said it a million times, we don't need to sit down on it, but let's just keep art, yo. I mean, simply put, howdy, Alex, howdy, Norm, howdy, everybody. Yeah, we're just talking about how Doctor Who may or may not be canceled, but it's definitely at risk. The assessment is there from both Disney and the BBC at the moment. Cat keeps the joints well hidden. I think that one was the good one. The gray cat is the dangerous one. The calico, named Calico because I'm lazy. She's sweet as can be. The other one, he's named Etrigan the Demon for a reason. That demon, he comes out there and steals my joints, I know. But anyway, how are we feeling with that? Do we feel like that writing has been on the wall? Obviously, we've seen a lot of different variations of that kind of same thought process happen with Disney IP recently, and every IP possible, but Disney particularly has kind of taken the brunt of it because we don't need the big crazy like words or anything, but for, you know, woke kind of DEI focused stuff, I don't think that's like necessarily what everything Disney's been doing has been focused on, but a good chunk of it. And the writing's been on the wall. Doctor Who is not doing well because of some of that kind of stuff. Just tell a story. People just want to see story. Good story. Give us good story, please. I could say the same thing over and over again, but I'm going to drive myself mad. So Disney, listen, please. Just not to the fans that are trying to like write in fun Easter eggs and stuff like that into every story. No, give us something original and give us something fun. I'll take more Last Jedis over more Force Awakens and over more Rise of Skywalkers. I'll take more Last Jedis over whatever the hell Doctor Who's been giving us recently, just from the public, I guess, outcry, for lack of a better term, because every angle you go, someone's upset about it. I'm so glad our resident Whovian, Mark, holds faith. This man stays true to Doctor Who, and I appreciate that. It makes me happy, makes my heart happy, and it makes me think that there is hope left for something like that has been enjoyed by so many literal generations of people at this point. As we've seen, things can crumble just as quickly as they can rise, and as scary as that can be for the thought of something like Stargate, we as a fan base are kind of the people that can keep things alive. So we've been keeping the sleeping giant of sci-fi alive. Let's kind of prop up old Doc Who a little bit and see if we can get it moving and grooving again. I haven't watched the series, and I know I haven't set up to watch. It's going to take me a while to get there with Star Trek stuff, but I do play Magic the Gathering, the card game. I know. I told myself I never would, but about 8 months ago, a friend got me into it, and I've spent too much damn money and too much damn time ever since. Anyway, the only like Doctor Who stuff I'm super familiar with is the Magic the Gathering stuff on the cards, and it's really interesting. It's really fun, and it's cool that the cards try to mimic stuff from the show and vice versa. And if companies that make toys, because as much as I love expensive pieces of cardboard, Magic is an addiction, Harris. Be careful. Yes, it is, and it's an expensive one. But expensive pieces of cardboard are toys, as much of a collectible and a kind of monetary investment it can be. They're toys. So if a company that makes toys can take the time and dedication to make something that makes sense with literal 60 to 70 years worth of history to play an hour to a 5-hour card game, just depending on how long and how good your moves are, you know. If a toy company, if Hasbro and Wizards of the Coast, excuse me, can make a game that is more Doctor Who than the TV show is nowadays, and the fans consider it as much, we are in a testy time period, which we of course all know. But again, I think that goes to show that, just for lack of another a reference point for myself, but if they can make toys that are pertinent and matter, let's make a TV show do the same. It's not that hard. It's not that easy. It's all easier said than done, of course, but it's not as hard as they're making it out to be. That's for damn sure. Mr. Ed started watching Doctor Who on PBS in the 1960s. I haven't watched it since DI and Disney Plus ruined it. That's a shame. Mr. Ed, with that thought process, let me clear my throat real quick. If you couldn't tell, I've been needing to do that for like the last 5 minutes. Sorry, y'all. But what would get you back on Doctor Who? What would put you on a Doctor Who note? Obviously, me being a completely fresh Whovian, know nothing about it outside of like cards and like just general knowledge of just friends who are obsessed with it and hanging out with Mark and Matt and other people like this all the time who are Whovians. What would bring you back? What would bring you back to the franchise? Not necessarily just I guess the franchise, the idea of the franchise. Has it been tarnished completely, or can it be saved? I guess just from somebody who has been watching it since the get-go, essentially. Real quick, Alex, while you're thinking about that, Mr. Ed, and anybody else, please, anybody else toss answers in here. We're hanging out today. So at this point, we're literally in a Hangout stream. Let's hang out. I think I forgot to do a thumbnail for this today. We can do a thumbnail together if you want to in a little bit, but right now let's talk. Alex said so many expensive decks I don't use anymore and can't keep up with the new turnover. Yeah, I'm glad I got into it when I did, because I the first things I got weren't Universes Beyond, but they've kind of, I guess, more about half and half of what I've gotten for Magic decks. But yeah. We won't make it too Magic based of a stream. If y'all want to talk Magic, I could talk Magic all day. But that's a whole nother thing. It would seem to me that Doctor Who has generally always been more popular in the UK than anywhere else. Oh, for sure, easily peasily. Easily peasily. Easy peasy's a word, but I'm stealing easily peasily. Trademark that thing. It's still been popular globally, though. I mean, there's a reason Disney was able and willing to foot at least a little bit of the bill. I don't know. It's still definitely got a base in the UK. Riddle me this, y'all. Riddle me this. If Doctor Who was to almost go indie and almost take like an independent filmmaking approach and bring it simply back to BBC with the budget that it was willing to do, use the budget that the BBC, I can't even speak anymore, the BBC was willing to give them or is willing to give them versus the budget that they're trying to shoot for with Disney Plus, and make it these giant exasperated shows that look absolutely amazing but may or may not focus on story, which kind of aggravates a lot of us. Do you think that they could, kind of like we talked about with Stargate, minimize the budget and really go back to a conceptual show, something that is there for the ideas and the fun of being there, and not necessarily as much as, hey, I live in Los Angeles. I like me some artsy fartsy stuff. I like to get into the Oscar stuff. I like to get into the Emmys, yada, yada, yada. But you aren't trying to win an award with everything. Sometimes you're literally there just to have a good time. Get a payday, of course, for the actors, and write and experience and experiment with those kind of concepts and play with those things. And sometimes, I guess, I haven't seen Doctor Who, but a lot of those longer TV series are for writers to get their feet under them as well within the industry. And maybe pushing back to a smaller independent thing and getting some true, because it is a UK thing for the most part, like Monk was just saying. If that's the case, hire strictly UK folk. Strictly. Make it small budget. Make it as UK as possible. Make it like the most British thing possible. Get your base happy again and expand from there. Slowly but surely. I'm not sure the best way to do that, obviously, without being a Whovian myself. But that sounds like a decent, I guess, game plan. And just tossing that idea back out here. What would bring you back? Would that bring you back smaller, more independent filmmaking? Maybe how many episodes are in a season? They're not 20 episodes anymore, are they? Or are they still 10, 12 with Ncuti Gatwa? I'm not entirely sure. Because Ncuti Gatwa was a freaking awesome actor as well. It'd be nice for him to get actual good scripts before getting probably booted as Doctor Who, just because he got such shite material, it seems. But hell, I can't say one way or another because I haven't seen it yet. I'm just talking about what I've heard. Real quick, let me catch up on some of these. Decent writers and actors. So many expensive decks I don't even use anymore. I can't keep. Oh yeah. So it seemed that Doctor Who was generally always. I'm catching up back to the same thing we were in. Sold my Magic cards in college for $200. Better to focus on college than Magic. Yeah, especially during that time period. I would start watching Doctor Who with the new Doctors, Nathan Fillion. I think we all would, honestly. There's only been 2 weeks since RTD took back over, and that's Space Babies and Empire of Death before that. Only week episode I can think of is The Legend of the Sea Devils. All else fantastic. Hey, that's our resident Whovian, and he is still optimistic, and that is good sign. Very good sign. If your group is cool with using proxy cards, better art anyway, using them instead. Yeah. Some of our friends use proxy cards. I don't go to game shops or anything. I'm very much a casual person. I'm not trying to go win $1,000 and lose half my expensive cards in the process. Or I don't think people play 4 cards anymore, but one way or another, I'm much more, hey, let's smoke a joint and grab some food and make some food and sit down and play some Magic at the kitchen table kind of deal. Maybe do 2 TV movies a year. What do y'all think? Does that bring it back into kind of something a little bit more manageable for them that they enjoy? Sarah, are you thinking they should continue with series as well as 2 TV movies a year, or strictly 2 TV movies a year until they get, I guess, an idea or an outline, a game plan more so of what they're planning on? Because, yeah, there's a lot of ways they could do it. Some of Doctor Who's most acclaimed episodes are done with hardly any budget at all. Yeah, let's get some independent stuff back in there. Make it small, make it meaningful and purposeful. Every dollar should have purpose, especially with how many dollars are just being tossed around in a film set a lot of the time. TV set included. You're just kind of tossing around cash, and sometimes purposefulness with that cash can make that dollar stretch out in a big, big way. And on a film set, that helps. Because time is money, money is time, and you're spending a lot of both. 2 movies a year for budget reasons. That'd be sick. I could see that. 2 TV movies a year for budget reasons just to keep it kind of smaller. And maybe they could even do that to inch into more small TV stuff to get back into it. Do their specials, their holiday specials, and then jump back into it. That might be a fun way to keep it alive. Keep it alive and keep your IP within your own rights. I guess, I don't know if rights revert back to different companies outside of the U.S. I'm not sure the legality of all those checks and balances there. That's why, as a time and space traveling Time Lord, Doctor Who spends as much time in London. 9 per season nowadays. Okay, including, so 8 plus this holiday special. Interesting. Also, there's a relatively new YouTube channel called Doctor Who Classic for Americans, only that every single day that they... I can't speak. Called Doctor Who Classic for Americans, that every single day they're throwing up a classic story for free in its entirety from the first 26 seasons. 26 seasons. Oh, okay. See, it's all fun and games until you add a number like 26 seasons into it. And the eyes widen and the brows raise. Maybe have Doctor Who take a sabbatical for like 5 years. Absence makes the heart grow stronger. Or do what Marvel did last year, 1 movie a year to refocus their storyline. I'm between y'all's thought processes. I like the little independent idea I had a little minute ago, but I feel like that would be after what y'all just talked about, Sarah and Monk. It might be nice to see, for lack of another term, purposefulness come back into it. Not just with the dollar amounts, but with the actual storytelling. Obviously, we've discussed that bit, but if they have 2 TV movies a year, okay, one's probably Christmas, and then the other can kind of go, hey, we're gonna do a summer one this year. Hey, we're gonna do a spring. Hey, you know what? It's a fun little Easter theme thing. I don't know. You said Christmas, so my mind went to Easter as well. Could do freaking Valentine's Day for all. You know, there's so many different ways that they could handle TV films and do them fun for the next 5 years, and maybe treat it like a sabbatical. Maybe treating it like a sabbatical would be nice, and also giving those little tidbits there to just push it along. And maybe that's how you allow Chudigatwa to finish off his Doctor Who run with a little bit of levity and love, hopefully, because I haven't heard anybody say anything bad about him or his acting or anything. He's a phenomenal actor. I just have never seen anybody say anything good about the new Doctor Who stories, realistically. So if they do take a quote-unquote sabbatical and take the 3, 4, 5, 6 years, however long it would take, to come up with new TV shows that hopefully would be more independent filmmaking. Hey, we don't need everybody else to do this. This is for the fans, and this is for the people that enjoy creating Doctor Who and making and watching Doctor Who, not necessarily studio execs A, B, C, D, and E here and there, you know? Yeah, I feel like a 5-year sabbatical, TV films would be cool. Get back into independent filmmaking. Do we solve Doctor Who crisis right here, right there, right now? Of course, it'd be more in-depth than that, but 5 years of a sabbatical with TV films by Chudigatwa might be able to help him save his legacy as the Doctor a bit and push the franchise forward. What are we thinking? Y'all like the idea? Have we given the BBC a blueprint that they can follow? Technically, the most recent Xmas episode, Joy of the World, will be the first episode of season 43. So they count the TV specials within the season and not separately, I guess. Because that's kind of wild to have a episode 1 of season 43 and 11 months later, episode 2 of season 43, or however long it is. Obviously, I'm not entirely sure, but if it's 6 months, 8 months, 3 months later, whatever it is, that's a little funky. It's not like a mid-season break or something. It's episode 1. Now you get episode 2. Like, okay, interesting. If Disney pull out the BBC, we'll drop it as they are trying to save money despite getting $3.7 billion a year for free. It's a lot of money to spend on film. And for their most successful, I don't know if it's their most successful thing necessarily, but for their most beloved IP and franchise out of everything, hell, give me another season or TV movie of Luther or Sherlock any day, but everyone knows Doc Who. Oh, totally off topic and not sci-fi or anything like that at all, but another Doctor Who miniseries. Not Doctor Who miniseries, another BBC miniseries. Did anybody ever see A Young Doctor's Notebook and Where to Find Them? Is it John Hamm? I feel like John Hamm's in there, but Daniel Radcliffe's the young doctor, and it's so good. I don't know what brought that to my brain right there, but it is the weirdest, but such a good miniseries. I love BBC stuff. So BBC, keep Doctor Who. Your bread and butter. At least the butter. Maybe not the bread, but at least the butter there. Come on, keep it BBC. But allocate the right amount of funds for it and everything else. Just go back to that independent filmmaking process like we talked about just a moment ago. If they did allocate the right amount of funds for a smaller production budget for these TV films that we've kind of discussed the last few minutes for the next 5 years, who's to say a regular budget couldn't be back in the thought process of things by the time that 5 years rolls up? I guess that's 2030. That is 5 years is going to be 2030, and I'll be 30. Interesting. I don't like to think about that. Anyway, we got time. We got time. Let's not think about that right now. Michael, how are you? Sorry you're late. No worries, man. We're just hanging out. We thought we were going to have a couple more people on today to talk some Who, but it's just me, my lonesome, and I'm not the most Whovian-esque of people. I'm trying my best, and I think so far we've managed. We haven't talked anything outside of Doctor Who, and it's been half an hour, so I'm kind of shocked realistically. But thank y'all for helping keep the conversation going, because it's interesting stuff. It's wild, and I think it has implications for more than just Doctor Who. If BBC's struggling to make back their budget for any of their TV shows, and they got $3.7 billion a year and what they're allocated by the government, use it and use it well. That's insane. That's insane. I could make 14 Rings of Powers for that type of money, and they would all be much better. Anyway. Under Mike was saying in Lone Wolf, who was filmed. Wait, if Disney, let me put it all together. There we go. It's one message. My bad. If Disney pull out, the BBC will drop it as they are trying to save money despite getting a $3.7 billion a year for free fee. And Lone Wolf, who was filmed, have done a statement that gives the impression it's all over. Yeah, the Lone Wolf stuff doesn't necessarily help at all. Thought Matt would be on. He's a Doctor Who fan. Yeah, he's also got 2 kids and a wife he's got to take care of, so time can be a fickle thing. And that's why I appreciate y'all coming to spend it with me so much. I do appreciate it, and it helps because I can give you some fun information, but if y'all weren't here to help, bounce back some Doctor Who stuff, it would have been about 30, 45 seconds of quick information and just keep moving. But thankfully, we've actually we've given the BBC and Doctor Who a blueprint of how they could actually do things well for them and their companies again. Come on. And, we've talked some cool stuff too. Monk, have you been watching Clarkson's Farm? That or their nature docs? Yeah, nature docs are probably a good way for BBC to just find somebody with the last name Attenborough or sounds close enough and has a nice, relaxing, soothing Santa-esque voice. I've always thought Richard Attenborough, or not Richard Attenborough, David Attenborough, whatever the hell, Attenboroughs, they all sound like Santa, and one of them played one. So, it happens. Hello, Harris and all. Hope everyone is well. I love a few aspects of the BBC, including the world's largest music festival, the Proms. I don't know if I've seen that. But howdy, Donnie. How are you, man? Hope you're doing well. Yeah, I don't know if I'm familiar with that. That sounds interesting. David said, I've got 2 kids and a partner, and I'm here. It's all about the priority. Well, touche. And he's missing the opportunity to talk some Doc Who, you know? Alex. Oh, wait, that was for surrounding Clarkson's pub. Interesting. Okay. Well, we've made it about half an hour, and I know I was just going on, but part of that ramble was I don't know if I know that much more about Doc Who or have much more to talk about there. So we're in the hangout phase of things. What have you been watching this week, and is there anything else? Also, did y'all catch our short that I put out last night for you? Greg went around and drove in North Hollywood and found the set for Fallout Season 2. I mean, I didn't say that. I don't know where it is. Oops. It's somewhere in the Los Angeles area, generally. I think that's pretty common knowledge, I guess. The second you start looking for it, you'll figure out where the set is. But anyway, Greg was able to go buy the set yesterday, and it looks sick. It looks so cool. Obviously, not everybody's played Fallout New Vegas itself. If you haven't, it's going to be a time sucker. But damn, is it a good one. And it's a lot of fun. If you're sci-fi people, which we all are, you'll adore it. So if you haven't played Fallout New Vegas, go back and play it before Fallout Season 2 comes out, because you will be in for a treat and a half, and you'll get some of those Easter eggs that are just fun that everybody clamors about in Fallout that you may or may not have noticed beforehand. But the top casinos out there, the Las Vegas, which is now the New Vegas Strip, was being built out there. So an entire block of a certain part of Los Angeles is literally the post-apocalyptic future of New Vegas. And I'm ecstatic. My roommate and I are going to write some today and have a couple other things to do, but I've got a car, and I only live about 15 minutes from there. So I might have to go for a drive later and just check it out, you know? Alex says he's working on Fallout 4 as we speak. Finally met the Brotherhood of Steel. Ooh! Ooh! That's fun. That's fun. The only short I've seen was your cat nicking your that was fun too. My roommate made that short for us, which was great. But the other one Greg made yesterday, I think that was 2 days ago. The one I put out yesterday was Greg's, and Greg was awesome for going out there and doing that. And he gave me the address, so I'll go sneak over there later and maybe bring a fancy camera, see if I can get some fancy pictures. I don't think I'll be able to. But maybe a more clear picture of what we've already seen by chance. I'm not entirely sure, but we'll see. We'll check it out. Video game, been playing Exogate Initiative. There's a lot of Stargate in it. Also, it's a lot of fun. Oh, cool. The length of seasons has varied a lot. 45 episodes a season in the 60s. What? That's insane. I think you've told me that before, but just that it doesn't lose its appallingness. What is the word I'm looking for? 45 episodes a season in the 60s. 70s and 80s are like 20, 25 episodes a season. The aughts were like 14 a season. Season 31 was 5 episodes a season. Wow. Season 41 was 3 episodes. What? They're just calling things seasons at that point. That's just calling things seasons. Stoner cat. Finally saw Wild Robot, though. You were right. Excellent movie. I'm so sad it wasn't actually nominated. It better win Best Animated Movie. There's some other good ones out this year, but Wild Robot is far and every kind of adjective I could place there. So much better than ever the others. And not because it's so much better, but because it's legitimately that great of a film. Wild Robot's so good, and I think it should have been nominated for best film as well, not animated, not in live action / animation, like best film. I believe it should have been animated, nominated for. You know what I'm trying to say? It's just I can't believe that Universal put it on freaking streaming 3 weeks after it came out. It could have made so much more money for them, and could have been a film that we all thought about for years because our kids saw it in theaters, or we saw it in theaters with friends, or whatever. Streaming, so great most of the time. It's convenient. It's convenient. I don't know about great. In fairness, the production on those old shows looked like a school play. True. That makes sense. It'll be fun to finally go through those next year. Do they not have a site who's filming what and where in and around LA? They have plenty, but you can't trust them all the time. And it's not that you can't trust them; it's that they're purposely making it where you can't figure out, because productions don't necessarily want you to know what they are a lot of the times. Obviously, like permits and like actual people know what they are, but maybe not so much the technicalities or specificities of stuff, Yeah. How do we get on Stargate Timekeepers, y'all? what what no how do we get, I'd say boycott Stargate Timekeepers, but I already have, so oops. That's really me calling things seasons. 31 and 41 were years that didn't have seasons. They were seasons of specials. Interesting. Okay. Flag University. Appalling. Harris's word of the week. What word does my ADD self get stuck on that I need help with in a moment, y'all? It happens. At least it's either a brain fart or get stuck on something for half a second. That's usually the easiest word ever. And you're just like, come on. And it eventually does come, but I guess not all the time. That's what. Thank God y'all are here. Because a little backup goes a long way. Holy shit! Wild Robot was such a great movie. I cannot thank Harris enough for that recommendation. Holy shit! It should have been Best Picture. It's a crime that is not nominated for Best Picture. Agreed. And thank you for watching it, because that movie is one that we should have all been seeing over and over again. Try to see as much over and over again as you can. When movies cost 50 cents a ticket, I do that, but they're usually a little bit more expensive. But hey, Regal Unlimited is an amazing thing. Yeah, I don't get the Academy's halt of even a want to try to nominate animated pictures. I know there are people who go on rants about the Academy saying, you know what, animated picture is just such a disgrace for animation in general, because it's not even acknowledging them as true films. It's putting them in their own category. It's like I believe John Campea calls it a kiddie table a lot, which is a pretty damn spot on metaphor. Nonetheless, I get it. I don't like to say I get it, but I get it. I get the thought process of switching animation and live action into two separate categories. But nonetheless, if you're gonna do that, I don't know if you lessen the live action category by filling it with other things that could have been that are animated as well, or if you just go ahead and make a third category in general and say best film overall. I don't know the actual answer to that one, because there's a lot of money that goes into the awards too. You win a lot of money with each award. You win within the Oscars or the Emmys or whatever. So that's a little bit more in depth of a conversation, because it goes on with Dune and things like that as well. That we could kind of caveat this conversation in a lot of ways, especially with the Oscars not wanting to and the Academy not wanting to usually appreciate fun things that we would talk about that actually end up being really good, genre filmmaking. They might do some Nosferatu. Nosferatu is kind of the type of genre filmmaking that they will lean towards, because God damn, it's Robert Eggers. You can't make as good of a film as Robert Eggers. You can, obviously, but That man has to talk about purposefulness with every single shot, every single dollar, every single little bit of anything that's on that screen has purposefulness behind it. And purpleness, if that's what I was trying to say in there too. No. The only thing I stream are a few TV shows and live sports, over 1,000 movies on disc here. Long live physical media month. Thank you. Attaway. Thank you for being you. Like, I don't have as big of a physical media collection outside of books as I would like to have. I just don't have the space to do that. But I'm so happy when I see people still collecting things like that because, oh, it's worth it. I'll collect all the fun little, like, crazy things. If I started collecting DVDs and stuff like that too, it would be dangerous. UK government about to tax us for watching streaming content, then give the money to the BBC. I did see that the UK is about to charge people that only stream. I guess we talked about it a few weeks back when I think it was Matt talking about it alongside Jamie. We're talking about the it's not a tax. What do they call it? Every year you have to pay a certain amount to watch TV from the BBC. I forget what you called it, but whatever. People in the UK, if they have cable, are paying a certain amount to watch TV every year. A TV license. Thank you. It's one of those simple, very straightforward words or terms that it's just like, in one ear, out the other. But yeah, I feel like that's insane. If the BBC is actually going to charge people TV license fees for streaming, they're not using your product anymore. They're just buying a TV. It's just a monitor. Words are hard, TQ Batman. They are, especially at 11 in the morning when you went to sleep at like 2. Oops. Things happen. That doesn't sit well with me, though. The BBC doing that really doesn't sit well with me. I won't get into the politics of UK very well, but much because I'm not one of the people that could speak on it all that well. But the bits that I do know make my eyes roll, and BBC having the level of, I guess, the level of, what word am I looking for here? Words are hard again. I'm trying to find the correct word to place here. I just don't trust anything the British government would ever tell me. Definitely not from the BBC. Any of them. Any of them. That might be the Texan to me, surprise. But TV licenses for people just at home with essentially a monitor and Wi-Fi? Sure, if you're going to charge people extra for Wi-Fi, which would also be kind of BS and stupid. But come on. Nor do we. The cats are conspiring against you, Harris. Must be some conversation. Oh, God, they are back here. What are they doing? What are you two doing? That's kind of funny. You binned all your physical media, including books? Mike. Well, I don't blame you either. Like, at the same time, I completely see that. Obviously, I love physical media if we can. Digital just makes sense. My entire film library is essentially digital. As much as I love having myself a library of books up my staircase that like show every single book I have, and it's just not every single book, but as many of the books I have that I can. Which, hey, if those fires would have got to me, I would have been freaking out about the books. That would have been, I have so much like film equipment and all these other things. I would have been freaking out about the books. That would have been freaking out if it got close to me. But thankfully, all good. And everything was 100% contained, I believe, this morning or last night. So no more fires. Fingers crossed. Please. BBC has too much power and control, in my opinion. Hey, you know what? In the U.S., we called it TV programming. And TV programming, the word programming has sat with us for a long time, and we always use it to kind of point out, hey, it's propaganda. When you're one form of entertainment is completely, I guess not when you're one form, when a form of entertainment is completely and utterly controlled, or at least has puppeteering strings allowed to be there with the BBC. I don't know. It just makes my skin tingle a little bit. My skin crawl. We already pay tax on broadband. Oh yeah. Oh wow. I have over 1,500 books on my Kindle. Mike, nice. I have a decent Audible library. I don't use Kindle. I use Audible, and I probably have. Here, look. I can tell you real quick, actually. Audible, which I need to go ahead and start doing. I don't think I've even opened up this app this year yet, and that is not acceptable for a month into the year. 80 titles, 78 titles. I have 80 titles in my library, in my Audible library. That whenever I go to the gym and I have my headphones in there, I don't listen to too much music in the gym anymore, unless it's reggae music, reggae or classical. People always listen to like hardcore rap or metal music or hard rock in the gym, and I get it. It's so much fun, and it gets you pumped. But also, if you're in the gym, kind of get that blood pressure and everything going a little slower, you know? That's kind of the way I go. I try to breathe slow and still be efficient, you know? But anyway, the viewer is the one being programmed. Totally. And I guess I kind of got off topic and got off track there for half a second. But yeah, we consider it programming, and that kind of throws the propaganda aspect of things into the conversation again. And if you only have one company or corporation or entity is the best way to say that, I believe, since it's a government entity controlling what you can and can't put out, it's by definition propaganda. Even the stuff that's allowed to get through that kind of aren't necessarily things the BBC would love, like, it's still filtered, and that sucks. Same thing that we're talking about with all this independent filmmaking. It'd be nice if the studios, I guess, with BBC are the whole BBC itself, the entity itself, just go back to keep it simple, stupid. Our favorite rule, our favorite little method of metaphors or whatever. Just KISS, kiss. Keep it simple, stupid. Simply put. Okay, let's jump into some more stuff real quick. What have y'all watched this week? I actually have watched all of Lord of the Rings extended editions and the Hobbit extended editions. My roommate had not seen any of that, and some of the stuff that we're writing for later, it wasn't necessarily necessary, but it was one of those things that, hey, have you never seen these things? And we're kind of not emulating, but we're getting an idea from here, this piece of this here, how does it work within the larger film itself and the narrative? We decided to watch them all, and I might have suggested it fairly heavily. And it's been a damn good week. And the very first thing my roommate said after he was done watching The Return of the King was, how do I go back and watch it all for the first time again? And I was like, I feel it. I feel you. I feel you. It's perfect. It's hard to beat Lord of the Rings. The Hobbit still is so much better than I remember it a lot of the times. Every time I watch it, I have a lot more fun with it. And the extended editions do help in a big way. But it ain't no Lord of the Rings. Lord of the Rings is so good. What else did I watch? We went to go see Companion last night with a couple people, and that was really fun. That was a good... It's definitely not a thriller horror movie, but it's a thriller dark comedy, and it is really good. What else? The Tolkien family hate Peter Jackson. I know. I don't get it either. Like, he's devoted so much of his life to the essence of what they've done. I get maybe not it not being 100% what you expected from your ancestry, but also Peter Jackson spent more effort and approached it with more reverence than most people ever would. I mean, he got Christopher freaking Lee to come in there and be Saruman, which also, I don't know how they're going to do the Hunt for Gollum trilogy without Saruman, or if they're just going to recast Christopher Lee, which I don't see you redoing. Or if you do de-aging, I just don't want to see de-aging in Lord of the Rings. We also have Ian McKellen, who's 80, coming back. So I don't know. I don't know anymore. Anyway, so Companion, Lord of the Rings, Hobbit. I feel like I watched some good It's Always Sunny this week, and we watched 4 episodes of Star Trek Enterprise yesterday for the membership stream, and that was a lot of fun. Quest and I were on that, and we managed all 4, 3 hours of just fun. 3 of the episodes were a little bit of slugfest, sluggos, I kept calling them. But even with kind of the slower episodes that are definitely like quote unquote filler in Star Trek, Enterprise, at least season 2, I can see how they are already escalating from the filler episodes of season 1, which I appreciate. That was nice. But The Hunt for Gollum isn't a true Tolkien story. It is a true Tolkien story. It's just not, I guess, not a story. It's a true Tolkien outline that they're making a story off of, and we desperately hope it's not like the last time they did that with the Tolkien outline, aka Rings of Power. Fingers crossed. Gladiator 2 was great. The Wild Robot was fucking fantastic, of course. Twisters wasn't very good. The whoosh whoosh scenes were great, but non-whoosh whoosh scenes, not so much. Really? I'm kind of shocked. I thoroughly enjoyed Twisters. I really had a good time with it. Glenn Powell and Daisy Edgar Jones were great. And oh my God, what's his name? He's playing the Hood in Ironheart and the MCU. He was the third main lead in Twisters. Oh, I know the actor's name. Oh, Anthony Ramos. Thank you, Monk. Literally, I have a friend named Raffi that looks like him, kind of, and I was thinking Raffi, and I was like, no, I know there's like a R somewhere. It was Ramos, duh. He was also in Hamilton, yes, but I don't talk about Hamilton. Yeah. Anthony Ramos, an amazing performer. Lin-Manuel Miranda, amazing performer, amazing songwriter, etc., etc. Hamilton is complete and utter trash, and will never be anything but that. The words written on the page are fine, everything's fine, but for Alexander Hamilton to be treated the way, he was a kingmaker back in the day. Don't make me get back into revolutionary politics with you. I do not like Alexander Hamilton at all, and is one of the least deserving people of that era to get a play written about him. And for the amount of, I guess, false reference that has been given to him, because nobody understands what the hell he did. Nobody understands who he really was either. They're like, oh, this is a fun play with some fun rap, but it's a rap stuff it's like theatrical rap. It's so cool, y'all. Listen to what the damn thing's saying. I can go off on Hamilton all day. I absolutely abhor Hamilton. As a human being and as a play. I can take the play narratively and say, decent play. But Alexander Hamilton. Also, all the performers in the play, great. And the play itself, if I'm trying to, take my little lens off and just watch it strictly for that, it's all right. It's good. But Hamilton just sends me off an edge sometimes. Sorry, y'all, if you couldn't tell. Fair enough. I like Hamilton. What does FWIW mean? When I was teaching history, it was one of the few things that would get my middle school kids to pay attention. Then I would tell the real story. That's what you do. I wish. I think one of the things that frustrates me about Hamilton is that it just glosses over history. It doesn't actually give a shit, excuse me. But it doesn't. It doesn't give a shit about history at all. It doesn't actually care about giving you an honest representation of history either. And it just glorifies a man that tried to glorify stuff that he was running away from. It makes no sense to me at all. Anyways, the thing that does frustrate me that it just doesn't do. It tells you a fun variation of history, and it doesn't implore you to go seek out the actual variation, the real version of history, or what is the real version? Truth is, it depends on who you are, where you were when you saw it, whatever. Truth is also kind of there's no such thing in some way. So I can get maybe not being so harsh on it, but also be realistic and give the perspectives of the people there at the time, I guess. Alexander Hamilton, the play feels like Romeo and Juliet with Leonardo DiCaprio, where it's just a modern variation of something that happened, and it's not the same way it happened either, in its entirety. Anyway, I don't know how we got on the Hamilton one. I remember ranting, like getting excited about Twister, saying I enjoyed it, and the next second I'm yelling about Hamilton. Oops. Alexander Hamilton did create the U.S. monetary system. He did, for better and for worse. But that's for another day. The truth is always fluid. There we go. Thank you, Mike. Words are hard, as TQ was saying earlier. But yeah, it's a good play, but don't take a history lesson from it. Damn right. Thank you, Sarah. That's the culmination of my thought process. Thank you. I never saw Hamilton. I won't say it's not worth seeing. I actually would say it's probably worth seeing at least once or twice. Just maybe read a history book before and also read one after. And you'll be able to not poke holes through it and figure out what was real or not. It's not about that. It's an art piece as well, but it's an art piece that was made without reverence. I don't think there was any reverence at all made with Hamilton. It was really just, okay, this could be interesting. Let's do it. I don't fault anybody for that. Lin-Manuel Miranda's amazing at doing that. Somebody just needs a good song or two, and he's like, this is interesting. This is a cool little thing. I can make a song about that. And he is the best in the business at that. Nonetheless, that play is, I was about to say trash. It is trash in a historical sense. It's not trash in a theatrical sense. But it grinds my gears, if you can't tell. My girlfriend just finished a bit all of The Rookie, and I caught a few episodes, and it's a good show. Oh, binge watching. Okay, that makes sense. Binge watching all of The Rookie. You know, I've never seen it. I don't think I've seen much of Castle either. But if I do ever catch an episode, and I don't think I've ever really caught an episode of The Rookie, but I've caught episodes of Castle, and it was always good. Nathan Fillion, I feel like I know him more from B movies in a way. He's never not done anything excellent. I can't think of a bad performance off the top of my head. The least likable performance is probably Guardians of the Galaxy 3, when he's just in the weird suit and gets all puffy and stuff on that weird space station. But that's just because it's comical, and it's like, okay, let's get on with the mission right now. And then the rest of that movie is actually pretty damn good afterwards. But yeah, Fillion's the best. It's like Quentin Tarantino's Inglourious Bastards or a Django Unchained. Fun to watch, but intentionally not accurate. That is where I would... just hearing it in the same sentence, Monk, hurts me. Bastards and Unchained and Once Upon a Time Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, are intentionally not accurate and are alternate variations of history for fun, where Hamilton is just a bastardization of history. I don't think it's intentionally not accurate. I think it's just it doesn't mean to be a bastardization, so I can't fault it for that, or I can't fault Lin-Manuel Miranda to do that, but it reeks of corporatism. Like, you know, it's just like the most corporate slop variation of something that could be. And that's it. That's it. Oh God, don't tell the Americans are now claiming they invented money, LOL. Oh, definitely not. Definitely not. Which is part of the reason Hamilton was trying to like bring in some of the old stuff. But you know, we can get into the revolutionary era in a different time, which would be kind of fun, honestly, because we are so UK and US focused, to have both perspectives and just kind of be like, can we do a Revolutionary War debate? we won't actually do that, but it'd be kind of funny. TQ saying based on a true story is not the same as a true story. That's the truth. That is the truth. What's Castle about? Shall I? Oh, excuse me. I'm dying a little bit. Castle TV show. Let's bring you up the entire thing and show you. I can't even speak. Caught Harley Quinn season 5, still one of the best DC things ever. I'm so iffy on the Harley Quinn show, Monk. I don't know. I feel like I would really like it, but also the James Gunnification, I guess, doesn't necessarily excite me. Bored with his success, celebrated mystery novelist Rick Castle teams with New York police detective Kate Beckett to solve the case of the copycat killer who recreates murder scenes from Rick's novels. While solving the case, the two realize that their unorthodox partnership has its benefits and decide to continue working together. Combining his writer's intuition with her creative detective work, they investigate strange homicides in New York, all while building a strong, if complicated, relationship with each other. Yeah, so that's Castle. It doesn't read very exciting, realistically. It kind of reads fairly formulaic in general, but it's still a fun one. Started rewatching Daredevil this week. My girlfriend has never seen it before. Ooh, or any of the Netflix Marvel shows for that matter. We're only 5 episodes in. I've got 2 seasons of great Daredevil, 2 seasons of great Punisher, 2 seasons of, I actually really like both seasons of Luke Cage. I don't think either one are the same pedigree as the other shows necessarily, but both are awesome. 2 awesome seasons of Jessica Jones. 1 good season and 1 season of Iron Fist, and then a decent season of Defenders. That's actually a lot of stuff. That's more than I remember it being. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. Is that 11 seasons of television? Poor kitty. She's just hanging out back there. But howdy, Real Wade Nation Gaming and Stanley's. How is everybody? They actually released some of the novels Castle wrote in the show. Really? That's actually really cool. Rewatch Death to Smoochie, Robin Williams, Edward Norton, Jon Stewart. Still a very funny show. Death to Smoochie. Yeah. What else we got, y'all? She's not sold on John Bernthal as Punisher. I'm trying to tell her she's wrong on that. Oh, she's totally wrong. I wasn't necessarily sold on Bernthal either. I love the dude's one of my favorite working actors right now. But when he was coming out as Punisher, I was like, okay, badass, but is it just going to be Shane from The Walking Dead, or how's he going to play it? No. He makes Frank Castle, his Frank Castle. So good. It's so good. I'm so excited that he's going to be in the new show. The new show, when's it come out? February 6th. We have, in 4 days, the new Invincible season, the first 3 episodes of it. And Daredevil Born Again. Yeah. When do you come out? It's February something, right? March 4th. Okay. Just a little shy of a month away. A month and 2 days. Damn, y'all. We got some fun stuff on the horizon for the year, which is actually really kind of nice. Last year was a little bit slow at times. It had some great stuff. Last year had some great stuff. You know, we have been talking about like the mid-budget thing. Frank Grillo would have been a great Punisher. Oliver, I totally agree with you there. Frank Grillo, he's essentially played the Punisher in a few different roles and at different times, and he's solid every time. Crossbones is like the bad guy version of the Punisher, essentially. And the 2 of them facing off in the MCU would have been sick. But alas, maybe one day we'll get it through multiverse, but who knows? Anyway, what was I just going off about? Well, I just started saying something and I totally lost my train of thought. I got excited to talk about Frank Grillo. ADD is what they call me and this at the moment. What was it? God, it was something good. Death of Smoochie, John Bernthal's the Punisher. Anybody? Grillo was Crossbones, and wasn't he in the Purge franchise? Yeah, he started the Purge franchise off with the original Purge. And it was I smacked my shin yesterday. I forgot about that till I just scratched it. He was a really good Punisher, Crossbones, and beginner of the Purge franchise. He was a great starting point for that franchise. I don't know if anybody saw Werewolves. It was a smaller horror film from, I think, November or December, late November. And it was Frank Grillo. It was essentially The Purge with werewolves. And it was pretty damn cool. It was pretty damn cool. I hope it gets a little fun, small horror franchise out of it. I don't necessarily expect it, but oh, it would be so fun. You were talking about what's been on this year. Oh, yeah. Because Daredevil, we've got Invincible. We've got a lot of fun stuff on the horizon. And that's what I was thinking about was we were discussing mid-budget stuff the last year and a half or so. We've been thinking, okay, so maybe films need to go back to the mid-budget, not use the highest budgets possible all the time. We haven't seen the mid-budget necessarily jump up as much. I guess some things this year. A lot of the things we've talked about, especially award-worthy discussion, whatever, it's been a little bit more mid-budget, not super, super high budget-wise. But then, of course, you got your Avatars. You've got your Alien Romuluses. You've got these things that get the $100, $150, $200 million budget plus. But we haven't gotten as many this year. And with fewer this year, I feel like they all did better than they have been doing the last few years. Like, there were the outliers with Jurassic Park and your Godzilla movies that end up making just next to $1 billion, or in Jurassic Park's case, just a little bit over $1 billion. Still, even if they're not the best things in the world, where now maybe we didn't have as many movies join the $1 billion club, but we got a lot more breaking even. We also had a lot that either broke even or flopped. And Borderlands flopped. Obviously, there's Megalopolis and things like that, but some of the bigger things like Borderlands just didn't get any traction at all, and there wasn't much traction to be gotten from those damn things anyway. But does that herald us into, I guess, not new era of filmmaking? That's not the right way of saying that, but does that interest towards that mid-budget thing we've been talking about, especially with the Doc Who stuff we started the stream off with. As studios realize they can't spend the money that they have been spending to actually make money, they need to mid-budget for a Marvel movie is $175 million. Oliver says the funniest shit to distract me in the middle of things sometimes. I appreciate it, Oliver. Thank you. That's great, actually. But does that bring like a mid-budget movie back to a degree, or at least the opportunity for us to receive more? Nosferatu is a bit of a mid-budget. Civil War for A24 was last year. There are a few ones that kind of, obviously, jokes aside, 175 mil for a Marvel budget. If we're talking 40 to 85 million, which is nothing to scoff at, but is a small to mid-budget, and more mid-budget. That's like succinctly mid-budget range, I would say, for these big studios. Do we have a decent Horizon to look forward to? And I'm not talking Horizon Part 2 with Kevin Costner, because as much as I love me some Kevin Costner, I'm not expecting a whole bunch from that one. But do we have a decent film horizon to look forward to? Is the sun going to come up and we have a new dawn upon us of maybe not like filmmaking or anything like that, but like we kind of started talking about it as well at the beginning, purposeful filmmaking? Are we at a dawn of purposefulness? I don't know if AI is kind of part to play with that as well, because it's made us more purposeful. It's totally making us least purposeful in a vast majority of things, I feel like. But especially when it comes to art, we're really starting to notice. And sometimes it's like, oh well, it's a TikTok or it's an Instagram reel or something, and nobody really cares. You can still tell. But when it comes to film, when it comes to actual hand drawing and things like that, people are very pissy and picky when it comes to AI art. And good, very good, because we need the human touch to remain something that we're focused on and focused on creating as well. And maybe that mid-budget opens things up for that a little bit. I really hope we are in that new dawn. It's a new dawn. It's a new day. It's a new life. And I'm feeling good, hopefully, if that's the case. If Nina Simone has brought us into a new dawn right now, right here, Let's take it. Let's take it. Nina Simone didn't, but I had to quote her, so I started singing. ADD. Well, it only gets brought up every few minutes, you know. If I ran a studio, I would take $150 million and divide it up 6 ways. 6 $25 million movies of different genres have a better shot at making back its budget than one $125 million budgeted film. Yes. Yes. Thank you, Monk. Also, with that same thought process, did anybody see, I still haven't seen Wolfman, so I don't know if that one's any good or not, but the Invisible Man from, I think, 2021 or 2022 was only a $7 million film, and I really like the way Blumhouse tends to make things. They spend $7 million on a film, typically, or somewhere around that. Sometimes it's more, sometimes it's less, but they were specifically spending $7 million on films and hiring solid actors, really solid actors, but not necessarily like your highest of A-listers that they were going to have to pay astronomically. Really noticeable actors that you can recognize that weren't going to cost them an arm and a leg, per se. And I feel like that was just a genius way of handling it. And if you know, maybe horror movies can be made for $7 million and still look absolutely amazing, but you might not be able to make a fantasy movie or a sci-fi movie for $7 million and make it absolutely amazing looking. Maybe for sci-fi. If it's a more conceptual piece that doesn't require like a cosmic kind of scale or something like that, sure. 7 million is not out of the question whatsoever. But Monk, if you had $25 million for films like that, you can make a lot of really good movies. A lot of really, really, really good movies. I'm with you. I think this is the way to do it. I think it's most definitely the way to do it. Invisible Man, was that the one with Elizabeth Moss? Yes, Elizabeth Moss, yes. And she was the bankable star for them. She was somebody that, hey, anybody and everybody at least recognizes her face. Not everybody could say her name. A good chunk of people can, but maybe not everybody, but everybody recognizes her at least. Hey, that's enough. Let me go check out this film. Invisible Man, oh, God. Oh, it's going to be, oh, that's an interesting twist. You start seeing the twist like, oh, the Invisible Man is going to be a little bit, it's some touchy subjects for that, but also it makes the viewer think about something specifically, which allows that twist to be not some huge, expensive, fancy twist at the end, but a simple twist. And quick spoiler for that. Mute yourself real fast, or mute me real fast for 2 seconds if you don't want to know a spoiler for Invisible Man with Elizabeth Moss, but she ends up being the Invisible Man, or the Invisible Woman at the end of the day, I guess. She steals the techno suit that is used to become invisible, essentially. And that was not something that was shown in the trailers or anything like that. It was a simple and easy switch for them to do on a budget, on a dime, and didn't have to do some crazy thing. It's doable. And I would really like more of our film and cinema and television, everything to actually follow suit. It would be nice to return a bit more to the art of it and not just profit. Hey, at the end of the day, I'm with you, Sarah. Like, it is art, but it is a business. So we can't forget the profit aspect, but it needs to be more about the art than the profit. Like you're saying, it's just hey, I'm from oil country. I was raised where the oil boom literally happened, where the big Gladys City tower exploded. I like capitalism. I'm a capitalist till the cows come home. Make me some cash, all the above. But art, I mean, it's important. I know I sounded 25 as I said art, but like as much as I like making money, and as much as I believe these projects are a business as well, they're also art, and people don't come to them for the business aspect for any means. They come there for the art. They come there to experience that, and we've lost the experience of it. We need that experience again. Hopefully we get it soon. I know, speaking of Sarah here, I don't know exactly when. It seems most movies are either small indie or blockbuster or some good middle budget. Yeah. Alien Earth. There we go. Alien Earth. We're going to get stuff like that this year. I feel like there are things that are well budgeted, but not overtly budgeted in a way that we can return to form. I'd love to see a return to form in that manner. Please, come on, studios. We can yell at the sky and yell at the clouds till the cows come home again. But till those cows get home, we're just yelling. We're just frustrated when we could be spending money on your product, your projects, your art. Anyway, that's off the soapbox there. Were you questing? Melvin was questing. You could say that. That's great. That was a solid film. It was a good, solid film. I thoroughly enjoyed it. Oh, David. Oh, yes, I'll be 18. I'm 18 now. No, I wish. I wish I was 18 again. Not really, actually. You can't do things being 18 anymore. Like, everything that you could do at 18 when I was 18, you got to be 21 to do nowadays. And I know that sounds stupid for people outside the U.S. because, go drink and be married at 18. You're like, you're an adult. Go to your life. U.S. changed that a little bit. I don't know. Anyway, having different budget ranges, genres, and more profitable because it caters to more taste, getting more people into the cinema. Just get more people to the freaking cinema. We need them in the theater so bad. And how do you get people there? You put things that they want to see there. You put things that they want to see. If there's one or two movies a year that people go see, and maybe not even a year, every other year is the way that seems to be a lot of the time. Oppenheimer and Barbie were definitely the outlier. Definitely the outlier last year. 2 years ago now. Damn, we're in 2025. Wow. How do you get people there? You show them things they want to see. And if not everybody's going to go see the one or two big movies every year, every other year, you give them small things to get back in that theater. Maybe you don't charge as much for ticket prices. That's a whole nother kind of categorization of why people don't want to go to the movie theaters. But when movies cost as much as they do a lot of the times, they have to charge what they do because the movie themselves won't get any money back when the movie theater is getting 2/3 of the profit from that anyway. So that third of the profit that goes to the movies, it doesn't get lost in the sauce. That's not the right little term for it or anything, but it doesn't get lost in translation either. It almost does. You kind of get what I'm trying to say here. I'm struggling to find the right, I guess, phrase for it or phrase or words or whatever for it, but you get people there by not making the same movie over and over, and that's kind of where I'm getting stuck up on right now. Is you have to change things up. You can't have the same movie over and over, and that's what I was talking about earlier with the James Gunnification of things. It's not that. Hey, there's two people that are directors that I don't like poo-pooing on people that I want to be in the same industry of and inspire to do things that they do on a daily basis. Like I don't like poo-pooing on them, but also Zack Snyder, stop with your freaking slow motion and like hyper brooding over everything. Just relax and make a good movie again. You can. You've proven it. You've shown us. Just do it, please. Please. And stop writing your own movies, please. Anybody else? Write for Zack Snyder. Anyway, that's a side. Zack Snyder actually makes me roll my eyes. Anyway, but I still respect the dude a whole bunch. I won't talk shit. That's not what I'm trying to do. I guess I'm trying to not justify. Anyway, I'm thinking out loud with Zack Snyder most of the time. James Gunn, though, I really like his films. Super like his films. Up until Suicide Squad and Peacemaker. I those have truly shown the path that I feel like not just James Gunn is on, but the entire film industry for the last decade or so. And when I say James Gunnification, you can almost say the Guardians of the Galaxy-fication of everything as well, where filmmakers saw, before that, before that, I was pointing out to my roommate yesterday, or a couple days ago when watching Return of the King, was, hey, everybody can kind of have a moment of funniness, but before Marvel, before Guardians of the Galaxy in 2014, there was typically one, maybe two funny characters. You had you were people with different personalities. Now everybody's got to be quippy. Ever since Guardians of the Galaxy, everybody's got to have a quip. Everybody's also they have hopefully their own personalities. Usually a characterization, not an actual characterization. Not like, okay, well, this guy's full of anxiety. This guy's like the confident strongman of the group. This guy's like the hungry stoner dude. You know, I'm literally just naming Scooby-Doo stuff. But anyway, just the general archetypes that come to brain. Instead of having, okay, so you have those three, and they all say funny, quippy things. Occasionally, sure. Like, if contextually it makes sense, perfect. But typically they're doing their own things, and you got your old Scooby-Doo for this this reference, this metaphor here, to come in there and go row and say your funny things all the time. He is your comical character. Where Shaggy isn't necessarily a comical character, but runs off the comic stuff that Scooby does very well and ends up playing off that way. Hungry stoner dude Harris just self-reported. Hey, now I'm kind of getting hungry. Kidding. Now, since Guardians of the Galaxy, everybody has the same personality. You might have that, like, oh yeah, like, I'm a goth person and I'm all like serious all the time, and oh, I wear black and I have eyeshadow and all this kind of stuff. But I'm also gonna quip like I'm a 14-year-old that knows everything about every pop culture thing ever, and that quip is gonna be the exact same tone as like the happy-go-lucky dude over here, and the exact same tone as like depressed, anxious girl over here, or whatever you want to do. Like, it doesn't matter the character archetype. Everybody at the end of the day ends up saying like, haha, we got funny jokes too. We got jokes too. We got jokes too. That's not filmmaking. It's not, I mean, it can be, and it has been the last decade, but it has been the cause of the lack of people, the lack of willingness to get back into theaters. It's formulaic. It's formulaic in an unformulaic way as well. Like, because it is formulaic, but also it doesn't have to be, and that's where I feel like the struggle in general filmmaking in the last decade has been shown the most, where, okay, well, now we know what we want to do. We see the formula, but we do want to make it our own. So they make it their own as much as they can, and then toss that formula right back into it. And it bastardizes things. I know I've said it a few times today, but bastardize is what tends to happen whenever you turn a film that has unique characters that say individual things into another piece of corporate slop. And we've been getting a lot of slop lately. The last decade, we've been getting a lot of slop with, of course, inklings of wonderfulness throughout it. 2019, Tarantino talks about as the last great year of film. I don't know if it's the last year of great film. It's the last great year of film in general that we have so far. I hope we get some more of those sooner than later. But 2019 was halfway through the decade that I'm talking about, and there's some of the best films that we've had in the last 40 years in that year alone. Parasite, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, The Northman. Maybe Northman was 2020. One way or another, that year was just phenomenal. But it still had some schlop. And thankfully, at that point, the schlop was still purposeful. Like, we had Endgame, and I wouldn't necessarily call that one schlop. I feel like that was the last bit of purposefulness, I guess, that Marvel had prior to doubling down on the schlop. And Bob Chapek, I feel like, for Disney, definitely doubled down on that. And it's not just Disney and James Gunn and these specific projects, the Marvel MCU that I'm talking about. It's that Disney sets the precedent for a lot of filmmaking in general, not just in Hollywood and Los Angeles and New York and Chicago and Atlanta, all these places. Because Disney is one of the few people and places that has their finger in each one of these pies globally, no matter where you are. It's an interesting point in filmmaking, I guess, that we find ourselves in. 2022 had Top Gun Maverick, just saying. There's still some great stuff. But once again, Top Gun Maverick is the definition of formulaic. It's not quippy and fun like that. It's fun in its own way. And that is the type of formulaic I would like us to kind of jump back towards, if we have to go with formula, because it's writing, it's mathematical one way or another. You're hitting beats, which implies, not necessarily implies, but allows a formula to be placed within it. And if you're hitting beats, you can keep writing that and change the story beats for whatever story you have. I don't know how we get back to the exact type of filmmaking we'd like to, or push the studios to do the type of filmmaking we like, besides just talking about it like we do. There's literally been half a dozen ways that we could, not we, that the studios could learn from we, essentially. And what is, my cat is attacking a light back there. Etrigan, come here. Etrigan. What? I'm sorry, that was extremely distracting. I thought he was going to take a light down back there. Oh, that was a good point of thought too. One way or another, how do we get the studios to do this? I think we talk about it like we have. We've laid out multiple different variations of ways that the studios can make things better, and not necessarily listen to fans in like that dumb kind of sense where, oh yeah, we want fan service here, here, and here. Please give it to us. But no, we want art. We want story. We want to actually be surprised at things. We want some, give us an Easter egg or something that, piques our fancy, but also theme word of today, purposefulness. Bring us purposefulness, please. And then we can use Jenny's theme from last week, hope. If we have purposefulness, the industry has hope again. And I know the lack of empathy for, crazy Hollywood stuff and execs in general, I don't fault, because I don't necessarily have a whole bunch of empathy for them myself, and I live here. But this, and I do hate out here. People are totally like, Los Angeles is the center of the world. Hollywood's the center of the world. No, it's the center of a part of the world that everybody looks at. And that's why it can feel like that to people that live here. It's not the center of the damn world. So if you're listening to this and you're in LA, hey, let's be realistic for a second. For the rest of the world, it is at least a part of history that will sit with all of us forever. So let's kick it in the ass and say, hey, do something good again, and not just letting the small studios do the good for you and have, oh, well, there's still independent film that you can go see. Hey, big studios, stop with the schlop. Stop with the schlop, simply put. Okay, it's a light. Thought it was a window. Oh, no. The light is right here. I'll give you a little bit of a different angle. The light is right here, and Batman's right in the middle of it. But because it's just so bright back there on the wall, I kind of try to flush the light out a little bit. But this is natural light from the window. This is a window, so the cats are just staring out in the backyard. So, if Hollywood has a problem keeping up with China when it comes to entertainment, there's a problem. Yeah. Yeah. That's a very simple way to put it. Yeah. That sounds about right. Cats, do my bidding, human. Yeah. Sounds about right. Sounds about right. And then if you don't, you get a nice pair of claws in your thigh. What are you doing, dude? Come here. Here, come sit in my lap. There you go. Stop being a crackhead. Come here. There you go. There we go. We got the crackhead cat. Oh. I think marketing in the modern era is a big problem. A lot of it is from a pre-dominant internet period. Agreed. Yeah, we need to not change with the times, but upgrade as we go, I guess, is the easy way of saying that. Okay, where are you climbing? Where are you going? Hey, Gigwise! Remember, Harris, you're not in charge of the cat. The cat is in charge of you. Oh, well, case in point. Come on. Get the cat butt out of my face, please. Where are you going? Limit the number of trailers before each film, too. How is that film that starts at 12 o'clock in the newspaper really starts at 12:35? Oh, yeah. We went to go see Companion last night, and I think it was a 7:30 p.m. showing. I think we left the house at 7:35, 7:40-ish, and it's about an 8-10 minute drive, usually about 7, but, a little bit of traffic. Drive to get down there. Stood in line for a few minutes, and then still walked in and caught the very first scene of the film. It was, I think, 25, 27 minutes after. I know the exact amount of time it takes me to get to the movie theater with or without traffic, depending on the time of day. And I usually leave as the movie starts. Because most of the time I'm not getting popcorn or anything like that. I'm trying to be all healthy. Half the time I still budge and go buy popcorn. Just kidding, not popcorn, but I am a sucker for some gummy bears. I'm a sucker for some gummy bears. And a water or a Gatorade or whatever the hell, But we got to get people back in there and the marketing, all of this stuff. We've talked about a lot of good things today. We might end it here in just a few minutes. We're an hour and a half into it, but is there anything else we want to just jump on before we jump out of here? Automatically assume a movie with tons of trailers sucks. Yeah. And you mean like a ton of trailers coming out prior to it? That would make sense. I read that for a second. Like, movies with a ton of trailers in front of them suck. I'm like, well, that is all of the movies now because they all have way too many trailers. But yeah, Mackie killed his film. Actors need to check themselves, like when they say ridiculous things like Captain America shouldn't represent America. Yeah. The Mackie stuff's confusing. I think that was very tone deaf to say anything like that at all. In that manner, I don't think anything like that at all. And that's not necessarily the right thing to say because what he actually was saying makes sense. And I don't think he had any ill intent behind it whatsoever. But it's tone deaf. Disney PR ain't happy right now. I guarantee you that. There's a lot going on in the world right now, if y'all haven't noticed, and doubling down on talking about what America is and isn't and should and shouldn't be and everything right now prior to your movie Captain America coming out. And doing that is, we all should be talking about this all the time with one another, wherever, whoever, all the above. It's life, and it affects all of us. But when you have a multi-million-dollar product and project behind you, maybe hold off. Maybe wait half a year. Maybe wait till DVD sales are up. I mean, it's not that hard of a concept to swallow and to utilize in functionality. The finger's not on the pulse. And once again, I don't think what he said was necessarily wrong either. If you actually read into what he's actually saying, I don't think he's not saying like, oh, Captain America shouldn't represent America. He's trying to say like it represents what the American ideals are. And that makes so much sense. It's actually a beautiful sentiment. But hell, either, well, you're an actor. Try to find a way to say that as eloquently as possible and practice it in the mirror 40 times before you ever find the opportunity to say it. Or, I don't know, write a poem. I don't know. There are better ways to do it than to kick your multi-million-dollar project, not under the rug, but just, it hurts it. It hurts it. It doesn't feel like Disney has their finger on the pulse for not just the American public, but for the international public at the moment, or if they ever do, really. And whether what he was saying was misconstrued or correct or false or wrong, right, indifferent, whatever. There's a time and place, and if a interviewer is asking you a question that brings an answer like that, you respectfully ask for the next question. Simply put, there's no human sympathizer members in the railroad. Honestly, though, that is a funny Fallout 4 kind of point that's always brought up. Like, well, the humans are going through some stuff too in a lot of different places. Hold up, like it is very interesting. You could share my idea for new star. I can't speak. You could share my idea for my new Stargate idea and see what people think. See what everyone thinks. Ayo, type it out here one more time, just so we have like the succinct. Give me the bullet points, and we'll jump on it, huh? He's Captain Falcon, not Captain America. So could we forgive him for saying stuff? Well, yeah. Interesting. I bought a ticket for Harry Potter 2 just to see the teaser trailer for Star Wars Episode 2 and walked out before the Harry Potter movie started. Oh no. Harris, thoughts on Tarantino's comments on filmmaking today at Sundance? Apparently, he's going to make a play next instead of a movie because of the nature of streaming. I'm trying to remember exactly what he said. I think I saw a clip or I read an article, one or the other, like as the day it happened, or the day he was talking about it a few weeks or a few days back, like a week ago, right? Maybe a couple weeks back. Anyway, I directed a play last year and wrote a couple of the sketches inside of it, and it's a good idea to do a play. I think we need to do more plays. I think we need to. I think a play will, not just a play, but plays in general and things like that are similar to film, similar to cinema. A fun medium that allows you to escape a little bit, but also, go learn something in a very fun kind of way a lot of the time, or learn a new perspective on something, whatever. I feel like plays could make a huge comeback, especially with the AI stuff that we were talking about. As we get more and more into an era of, okay, is this just AI? Or is this just... where are we at? Does that actually have a human touch? I can't barely tell anymore. Plays will have human touches, and that will feel almost like one of the most human experiences I feel like we can have with one another and share. It'd be very nice. It'd be very nice, and I think it's an excellent idea. I think it is an excellent idea. I don't necessarily agree with 100% of the things he's discussing with the nature of streaming, but I understand with the nature of streaming as it is why he is making the decision making he is. But also, I do agree with a good chunk of the streaming stuff. I mean, not all of it, but a damn good chunk of it, especially when you get into like the Chronicles of Narnia and Greta Gerwig and stuff like that, where she's fighting Netflix to get just 2 weeks of a theatrical release for what may be, I don't know, the second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh most popular book series of all time. Like, I don't know where you'd put Chronicles of Narnia, but it is way the hell up there on that list. So, I think it's a great idea. I think it's a great idea. If that's the way streaming is going to treat us as filmmakers, film workers, and people who want to appreciate said film working, why not bring it back to something that actually builds community? And when that community is built, then say, hey, I've got a movie for you as well. Would you mind going to watch in the movie theaters? I saw you a month ago at the Playhouse. It'd be awesome if you could support the movie. That will hopefully bridge the gap a bit and build that community. I don't know. No clue. I'm just the idea guy. Harris is the writer. Where's the safety guy in your script? Okay. I do like Gigwise's thing a lot. Real quick, just before I jump into that. Also, live Super Bowl commercials was the only place we could watch movie trailers back in the day. That's a good point. Best internet comment. Captain America is the best superhero ever. Who can beat him? The reply was Captain America. That's good. That's good stuff. That's funny. I IIRC, it was also about how the theatrical window had significantly shrunk over the last 5 years. I agreed. Very much agreed. Hey, talk about the theatrical window. Literally, I'm glad you brought that back up, as I was probably talking about the damn 2 weeks for freaking. How do you give Chronicles of Narnia 2 weeks? Like, literally, 2005, you had Lion, Witch, and the Wardrobe, and it did super well. Maybe not Harry Potter well, but right next door to it. Like, shit. I don't get it. Netflix buys a cinema and then never releases a movie into the cinemas. Do they still have theaters? I believe they do. They used to own the Egyptian theater out here, and then the Egyptian theater closed down, which was so sad. The last movie I saw in the Egyptian theater was The Hunt, which was a Q&A from Damon Lindelof, the writer, and I don't think he directed. I think the director was there with him. Or no, it was his co-writer. It was the two writers for The Hunt. It was Damon Lindelof and whoever wrote it with him, who might have been the director. I can't remember off the top of my head, but that was the last movie I saw in the Egyptian theater, which is owned by Netflix, that they shut down. That is a historic theater that was owned by, I believe, Spielberg before then. Like, it's historic theater. It's just Netflix they don't care. It hurts. Hey, if you want to give me a bunch of money to make something, I will make it, Netflix, and I will make it damn well, and hopefully you'll give me a second season. I'm not going to be happy to be part of the spaghetti thrown at the wall, but at least my spaghetti got made, and that's a weird thing for filmmakers to be thinking as well. Like what Tarantino was talking about. It's just, damn, man. What about we finally make it to Mars and find the Stargate there? If you want to know a movie will do well, leave the comment section on the trailer on YouTube and figure out it'll be better to cancel it. LOL, Snow. Yeah. Good litmus test at the very least. It allows that finger to be on the pulse because it's what the public's thinking. Of course, you can have big giant outcries of rage baiting or positive baiting for either side of movies for reviews and stuff like that, but the comments will let you know. Whoever's willing to get down there and comment and fight for their team or fight against their team will typically let you know. And you can kind of gauge that, okay, well, this side's definitely like the side that's winning over here, but now let me read some of the other comments and kind of figure out. There's always kind of like politics or anything else. You find the multiple perspectives, search them out, feel what you feel, and then not necessarily meet in the middle, but meet where you want to. Meet where you feel fits best, whatever that is. You should crowdfund and make a Stargate fan film. That'd be fun. Must find Stargate on Mars, then claims he invented the Stargate. When Glass Onion was released, Daniel Craig told the Netflix CEO that the release model was awful. He isn't wrong. Agreed. The model is the only thing worse than the Glass Onion movie. Just kidding. It's not that bad of a movie. It's nowhere near as good as Knives Out. And Glass Onion's corporate schlop. That's some schlop. It's not bad. It's just schlop. Ryan Johnson can do better and has done better and will do better. But Glass Onion is schlop. Anyway, Daniel Craig's 100% right about that, though. 1,000% right. Posting a trailer on YouTube is cheaper than a billboard, and you get a big reaction in a huge way. Huge way. That's a great point. Now, let's get into the new series is Stargate Alpha. The Alpha site is the new series. SG-1 is lost. Anubis was about to attack Earth, and General Hammond sent a large group of the brightest people to the Alpha site P3X984 with a chance of being cut off if Earth loses. So, Gigwise, while we were on the member stream yesterday, came up with this idea for a new Stargate series, and it would be called Stargate Alpha, as he said. And it would be essentially about the Alpha site that got cut off when Hammond sent the best and brightest of all humanity to the Alpha site. We went through it. Remind us, y'all, if we're off base or getting a little bit wrong. But the Alpha site either is still completely cut off or it not runs away, but has to evacuate and goes to a beta site, which in turn still cuts it off. So we might have a whole nother Stargate command of sorts out there somewhere. And Stargate Alpha would be a really fun and interesting way of doing that. I'd love to see a show like that made. That would be a show you can make without having to bring in the main cast of the old shows, and maybe down the road it would make sense to bring them in as they've been searching for them. It's an excellent way to do it, gig-wise. I love it. I love it. I just wish they would listen to us again. And it's one of those things. You brought up an excellent concept of a TV show that would be able to include Easter eggs, but wouldn't be so Easter egg heavy. And I feel like that's one of the things that definitely is holding back Stargate in a big way is, okay, well, we want to include stuff from the old stuff, from the old TV shows, maybe from the TV movies, maybe from the original movie. We have a lot of things that we can include. How do we do it? Hell, don't. Make your own thing. And then later down the road, have the things set up to be included. I mean, the only things I guess you would be using would be names and species and character types, archetypes, whatever the much more general version of it, and then you can kind of ink it together over time and allow it to be its own story within the larger world, which would be really cool, really neat. No, that's just an alternate SG-1 universe, and as we have seen from Trek, that's a bad idea. I'm not talking about not Daniel's mirror universe, not that one. The actual Alpha site when Hammond has to quote unquote evacuate everybody. The mirror universe. Let's not. I'm with you. Let's not on that. A new Stargate film where beautiful women come through the Stargate because all the men in the world are dead. We could call it Stargate Starbait. Sometimes I should read these before bringing them up on the screen. But that's hilarious. And I feel like you could write a movie for that. I don't know if you could sell it to MGM, but there are a few places out in the valley that you might be able to sell it to. Oh, heck. Now that's a good idea to get another reason to be cut off. The Alpha site was compromised and they had to evacuate and were still cut off from Earth. Hey-oh. See how smooth the camera is without the background music? Oh, like actually, it hasn't messed up once. Oops. Oh, yeah, guys, that is from an actual episode that exists. Got him. But SG-1 won, so Alpha was not cut off. Aye. Yeah, Sarah, that's exactly what I was thinking. I was like, David, you can sell that outside the Hollywood proper. I'm pretty sure they'd take it with the sounds of it. Oh, God. G-string one. No. Okay. Let us do one more thing before we leave today. I was so busy trying to figure out. We beat Anubis. So to say that we lost as an alternate. Yes. I have not put together a thumbnail for today just yet. How about we end this thing off with making ourselves a little thumbnail to end the day off. What we said, a little bit of Doc Who, but also kind of a sci-fi hangout. We should team up. Who needs Brad Wright? We all want Brad Wright, but if he's not available, we might need y'all as backup. Come on, y'all. Where are we thinking? It's a Doc Who kind of stream ish. We did spend a lot of time, so how about Blue? Blue's a good way to go. I don't know exactly what I want to replace with what, where. What are we thinking? What we titled this Sunday Hangout and Doc Who on the verge of cancellation. Doc Who to be canceled? Question mark? How's that? How is that? There we go. There we go. Is that a little bit better? Harris Cat, hot news just in. Harris Cat jumps through Stargate with his dime bag and shocked Harris face thumbnail. That would be a fun little Stargate fan film. Literally a cat jumping through, stealing people's stuff and jumping through different Stargates as they open. Oh, God. That actually would crack me up. Logo. We're going to replace it with our logo. The old SciTrek logo. If we can find it. There it is. Booyah. Oh, no. Yeah. Is that too big or is that good? That's all right. We don't need that logo in the corner there. And Sunday Hangout. Yeah. That decent? Gotta love evil addicted corn. The cat wants some Casa to go with their catnip. I'm surprised everybody left you without adult supervision today. Hey, sometimes I get to come out and play, and we get an hour and 50 minutes of crazy talk. But hey, at least we had fun with it, and there was a bunch of good stuff to talk about. Honestly, I'm surprised I was able to go as long with the Doc Who stuff. But when you generalize it and can kind of pinpoint specificities, it makes it a little bit more digestible, I guess, for even somebody that hasn't watched it all. So that's nice. What should we use as the Doc Who photo? Which doctor? What are we putting on? Should we put Shudigatwa? We could put this in there. What are we thinking? Hey, that's the one from Magic the Gathering. I recognized it immediately. We're going to put Capaldi up there. Yeah, the crazy thing is I do know a lot of the actors from Doctor Who and really appreciate their work and their volume of work. I just have never taken the time to watch Doctor Who itself. But after Star Trek, of course, that shall change. David Tennant, Tom Baker. Oh, one day Harris will make my name blue. What is making it blue do? I'm confused. David Tennant? We're putting Tennant on there? Is there a good one with Tennant and Shudigatwa anywhere? Oh yeah, because there should be with like Christmas specials and stuff, huh? I have an idea. Let's see. Let's see if we can manage it. Let's see. Okay. Trying it with our fancy little thing here. Upload files. Oh, bring me back to the top. Here. One thing. Oh. No. I want. Oh. I like that we can do what it just did. Oh, but it wants to put both of them in here like that. Okay, that's interesting. Okay, well, this is photo will not work then. What are we sticking with? Quest wants a. Oh, I get it. The admin thing. Oh yeah, that's easy. Honestly, I'm surprised we haven't put you on there. I have been kind of bad about putting some of the I guess admins and stuff up because it's hard to with using StreamYards, and we're on the totally opposite thing half the time. Let me actually go in here. Yes. And where's Quest? There he is. Y'all are now Blue da boo dee da doo die da boo dee da boo die da boo dee da boo die. I went ahead and made David one too. Obviously, Sarah's part of SciTrek. Melvin's here all the time, and David does not miss a stream. So those three are wonderful. Everybody else, y'all are probably gonna be admins in the, if you ask nicely. Realistically, you know, like shoot. Just use the poo emoji. I just gave you power, and you're already David. I started watching Doctor Who in the early 80s. Oh, hell yeah. The TARDIS represents all doctors. Yeah, but is it like a clickable thumbnail is my only thought process there. This is kind of a fun TARDIS. One way or another, it's not a bad thing to have the TARDIS saved to use inside of our thumbnail. Actually, this is not a bad one. Chudy TARDIS is what I'll call it. And we'll see if either one of these plug in here decently. The TARDIS exploding? Oh, that'd be cool. Power! Already. And Melvin's coming in too. They both got the power. Where? Oh, where? There they are. I guess we don't really need to delete him. We just upload something new. We'll try both of these. Try this first. Hey, that doesn't look bad. It's kind of generic, but it don't look bad. Give me 1 out of 10, y'all. What are we thinking here? I'm also going to move that little subscribe button because we don't need that everywhere. That might be a fun little. Yeah, that's got a good little look to it. 7. Oh, okay, that's not bad. I expected like a 5 or a 4. Thanks. I'm glad. I just I feel like that one's just slightly more clickable. It's got the Disney Plus logo on the top. It's got the TARDIS. It's got the Doctor and his companion. By the power of SciTrek, I have no power. 6.5, 8. How about this one? You feel like this one's just slightly more clickable with everything going on and with the topic at hand? Maybe a little bit more. I might make that Sunday hangout just a little bit bigger because we only spent the last 3/4 of it hanging. I'll go 8. Cool. So we stick with this one. Doc Who to be canceled and Sunday hangout. Anything else we need to add on there, or would we run the risk of making it look a little bit too convoluted if that's the case? Because I think that might be the case. Yeah. That's the better option. And some tiers to push the algorithm. Tiers. I don't know if I've ever actually added tiers. Let's see if we can add like a funny little tiers. This one just sad eye in the corner. Like it's too fancy looking of an eye, but nah. Just sad eyes over the TARDIS. That's actually kind of funny. That's kind of funny. Do y'all like that or no? Like, do you like the tears or not? You said it, and I was like, hell, maybe just for fun. Let's try it. Yay or nay for it, though? I kind of like it. I don't dislike it, is what I'll say, 100%. LMAO, love it. Like, that's kind of a perfect little suggestion. That was kind of great. Mike said no. Somebody, give us a third opinion. Let's get a best 2 out of 3 here. No, that one's not as good. Those animated eyes, because you need the eyes for the tears as well if you're going to use tears. But I don't know. What are we thinking? That's awesome. Okay, 2 out of 3. Tears under the Hangout text. Okay, let's try that. That's the middle of that text, maybe a little bit smaller so the eyebrows are seen. It makes me laugh and it hurts to laugh right now. How did surgery go? Did it go well? Daleks canceled who? What? The tears should be coming from Chewie. Looks like Doctor Who crossed it with SpongeBob. What about a weeping sonic screwdriver? Sonic screwdriver. Oh, I don't know. That might be hard to add in here. Sonic screwdrivers. I can't speak. Sonic screwdrivers would be a good thing to add on there, though. I kind of like the eyes over the TARDIS best. That makes the hangout part look sad. Yeah, I'm kind of with you. Well, good. Very good, Sarah. Very glad to hear that. I know you texted us. Just good to hear for everybody. I'm glad it was a surgery that was electable and not one that just like popped up out of nowhere. Because eyes over TARDIS, I'm with you. I think the same. It had a funny little look to it. Was that it? Was that about the size? It was just shy of being up at the very top. Yeah? How's that look from afar? Yeah? Good finalization? Is this where we're ending? Good thumbnail, I guess, for this one. Yeah, let's go ahead and download that. Oh yeah. Hey, look, that Wi-Fi is actually moving at a decent pace today. That's a rarity. All right, that's a fun one. Okay, putting it on right now, and then we will call it a day afterwards. Yeah, because it has been a lot of fun. This has been a really fun one. I was obviously a tad worried coming in here, not knowing anything about Doctor Who for a second there. But I'm glad it went as well as it did because we've had a lot of fun stuff to talk about. I guess I should put this in a Doctor Who playlist as well for everybody. Oh, cool. Okay. Sometimes YouTube doesn't want to save everything immediately, and then I have to like do it 3 or 4 times before it actually does something. And Doc Who to be canceled. Save. We've got a thumbnail. Cool, y'all. I'm a fan of it too. It's a good one. Probably should have done it before the stream, but it was focusing so much on, of course, the actual trying to figure out Doctor Whoisms and such. I think we managed. That is it for me today, though. That is 2 hours, 1 minute into this puppy. Love y'all and appreciate y'all. Thank y'all for hanging with me for as long as you have. I expected today to maybe last 50 minutes, an hour, maybe a little bit over an hour. And we have had a lot to talk about, a lot to rant about as well, which has kind of been fun. But also, come on. If that was me making that thumbnail, it would have mean at least 30 minutes of shouting and swearing. That was me a month ago, 2 months ago, after just doing a whole bunch of them. They're kind of fun. I'm not the biggest graphic designer person in the world, if you couldn't tell. But they work. Good work, all. Been fun. Thank you, Alex. Hope to see you soon. Later, Harris. Have a good week, man. You too, Monk. And Oliver, take care, man. I'm trying to think. What's the next thing we have coming? We technically, I guess, should have a Stargate outpost this week. I know Sarah's still recovering from surgery, so she won't be able to join us. But Jamie and I will think up something fun. If y'all have anything specific that you'd like to talk about Stargate-wise, holler, and we'll do it. And yeah, we got Stargate Outpost this coming Wednesday, and hopefully another stream or two throughout the week. And I would like to maybe make a video a little bit more succinct about this Doctor Who news. So, yeah. Best of all, no Star Wars chat. So, extra Star Wars news. There's 2 Star Wars movies coming out this week, and we're going to watch them both. Just kidding. I want to talk good Star Wars. I want to, but eventually, we'll get there again. Great stream. See you soon. See you again soon, bud, and chat. Bye, all. Bye, everybody. Before I run the risk of rambling on too much, thank y'all. Appreciate y'all. See y'all Wednesday. And